Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA up-and-comer Jillian Lybarger. Jillian, how are you?
Good, how are you guys? Thank you for having me on.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for doing it. Jillian, you got a fight coming up February 22nd at King of the Cage, Radar Lock. How's training been going for the fight?
Everything's going good. 10 days out right now, so just watching the weight, making sure everything's on point with that. Training right now is really good, going over the game plan, stuff like that, so pretty much blessed right now.
Now, this is going to be your pro debut, and this has been highly anticipated. A lot of people have wanted to see you make your pro debut for a long time now. It's been a while since you fought. The last time you fought was November 21st, 2012. So it's been a year plus since we've seen you in action. Just curious, why haven't we seen you fight in, a year plus?
A lot of personal changes. I was in Las Vegas where I did that camp for the Stephanie Gonzalez fight, which was over a year ago. That was my last fight. Came off a great win. I was hoping to take that momentum forward and making my pro debut on the next Invicta card.
Right.
That got pushed back, and then I made the move back to Arizona. I just wasn't comfortable in Las Vegas, and just had to make sure everything in my home life was okay before I was able to commit 100% to get ready for the pro debut. Everything's good now. I'm back in Arizona, training at the lab, among other places, and everything just kind of fell into place with King of the Cage. I get to make my pro debut here at home in Arizona, so I don't have to travel. And I waited a long time, but it's finally here, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Now, when exactly were you ready to fight? You said you had some personal things going on, and you said that you were ready to fight for Invicta, but that got pushed back. When were you ready for a fight? Like, how long have you been, trying to get something put together?
My manager and I, we were going back and forth with what weight I was comfortable at going pro. 115 is my ideal weight to fight pro. This King of the Cage fight was supposed to be at 115. The girl that I was going to fight, she dropped out, and a girl took the fight at short notice. She asked to do a catch weight, and then we just agreed to 125 since she took it, I believe, at 5.5 week notice. Just getting everything right with what weight I wanted to do, make sure I had enough time to get affiliated back in Arizona with work, my living situation, and again, another new head coach, just to get comfortable with him on the same page. Once all that was said and done, I started looking for fights again and putting myself out there. The training never stopped, but mentally I wasn't there 100%, just focused. Now I am, so I'm in a better place right now.
You're training at the lab in Arizona right now. How long have you been training there? Because if I remember correctly, your sister, Jillian Lybarger, she was training there a little bit before you. She was there, I want to say, a couple months before you started training there. How long ago did you start training at the lab?
It was when Jocelyn and I left Siege MMA together, went to the lab. That's when I moved to Las Vegas. Jocelyn stayed at the lab, and I started training back in the lab last March is when I moved back to Arizona. Jocelyn has a great relationship with everyone at the lab. They welcomed me. She has a great relationship with Crouch, the head coach there. And Jocelyn's been really successful training at the lab, and I get to feed off that. She did go pro first with Invicta, and she's been great ever since, so it just kind of all works out.
Now, besides your sister training at the lab, who are some of the other women training there? Because I see pictures online, I hear stuff online all the time that there's a lot of girls coming in and out. I've seen Miesha Tate's been training there, Julia Budd's been training there, Jordan Gaza's trained there in the past. Who's there right now?
All those names that you see, Jordan Gaza comes and stays with us for a while. Miesha Tate is really good friends with Jocelyn and I, and we got to train with her way back in the day when we first started. Julia Budd comes out a lot because her stepson attends ASU college, so she's out here a lot more now. Paulina from Texas, she comes out a lot. Courtney Casey, who now lives in Hawaii, she did live in Gilbert. She helped me. She actually did help me a lot for this pro debut. But it's kind of the place to go right now. Well, to be honest with you, it's the only place to go right now in Arizona for females and males. On our sparring days on Saturday mornings, we got about 48 plus people in there, men and women. So it's a great place to go.
Mm-hmm. Do you train mostly with women? Because, I mean, there's a lot of great women that you just named off that have done training there. Do you train mostly with women, or because they have a lot of lighter weight guys that train there as well? Do you train mostly with women, or do you mix in some men there too?
We have tons of wrestlers from the Grand Canyon University that attend practice daily. But no, Crouch barely lets me and my sister and I go with each other because he likes to mix it up. So we're mostly with guys.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, this fight coming up on February 22nd, you mentioned that this is not your original opponent. You were supposed to fight Sujin Kuninen. I hope that's how I said her. That's how you say her name. You're supposed to fight her. Now, you have some history with her in the past. You fought her as an amateur. It doesn't show up on your record because I think it was like a weird scenario you fought. Yeah. Yeah. You fought her in like the back of a restaurant or something. Like it was weird. But are you
done that, but we did.
Yeah. Are you disappointed that she's not going to be your opponent for February 22nd, or are you just, happy to be fighting anybody because it's been a long time coming since you were supposed to make your pro debut? Are you disappointed that fight's not happening?
I'm really not. I'm so glad they found a replacement so quick. They found a replacement in 3 days. This girl, Jenny Liu, I think I'm saying her name right. Mm-hmm. I watched her. Courtney Casey's watched her a lot for me. I'm super excited it's her. Super excited they found somebody because it has been too long. I'm super hungry right now just to get back in there. It's something I'm thinking about constantly, just that rush you get going back. So I'm happy the fight's still on. I think my game plan has not changed much at all. So everything's pretty much the same. I get to relax a little bit on the weight. Really did it. I walk kind of light, so 125 is really easy for me to make. So I'm not worried about that. But a long time to do, so I really don't care at this point who it is. I'm just ready to fight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, with being out so long, do you have any worries about ring rust?
I don't believe in that, to be honest with you. A lot of people talk about that. If you're training every day, you're an athlete. So when you set up a camp and you move forward with your camp, you're getting stronger and you're getting better. The biggest thing was mentally, where's my head at? And I think right now, everything across the board is right on point.
Mm-hmm. After your last amateur fight against Stephanie Gonzalez, you had a lot of momentum. You mentioned that earlier, that you had a lot of momentum after that fight. But now with this layoff that you had, do you feel that you've lost some of that momentum?
No, because I have somebody who looks just like me, my twin sister, who's kicking butt every single day, and I want to be more and more just like her, if not better. We push each other, and we motivate each other to, it's hard to explain, like, I want to be better than her, she wants to be better than me, but it's at a healthy point now. So seeing her, when I took that time off, how much stronger, quicker, and better she got, I was like, no, I need to be right there with her. So it made me work 3 times harder than her, so I'm pretty much good right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, this might be a strange question because you're getting ready to make your pro debut, but considering how long that you've been out, was there ever a chance that you would have done, maybe one more amateur fight, or was that completely out of the question? You just want to get paid now?
Being that we're the first ever twin female fighters, we do pretty well in that aspect. I don't do this for the money or anything like that. I still work a full-time job. Mm-hmm. It was to the point where I was looking for amateur fights too. My manager wanted me to do one more amateur fight just in case with the long layoff and stuff. But this fell right into our lap, and it's in Arizona, so I don't have to travel. So it just all made sense.
Mm-hmm. What's your second job?
I'm a lead trainer at Tidal Boxing Club in Goodyear, so my twin sister and I, we both work there. It's something we're extremely passionate about. We teach weight loss to females, help them reach goals, teach boxing and kickboxing classes. It's just for weight loss. We don't teach people how to fight at all. It's just all weight loss.
Oh, I see. Now, Jenny Liu, she's going to be your opponent for the 22nd. You mentioned that you've seen a little bit of film on her, and you've talked it over with Courtney Casey, who's been watching some of her fights as well. Overall, what are your thoughts about her as an opponent?
She's a great competitor. She just made her pro debut, I believe, 3 weeks ago. From what I'm told, it was a short notice fight that she took. It wasn't planned or anything. So from what I've seen, most likely she wants to take me down. But so I think our fighting styles is going to be a push and go fight. I'm going to come forward. She's going to want to come forward, look for the takedown, and it's going to be nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Now, with this fight being in Arizona and you live in Arizona, how many people are you expecting to come support you? I mean, obviously, I bet you're hoping the entire arena will be supporting you, but, who are some people that you personally invited to the event?
Well, my whole family is going to be there. My partner, Nicole, her whole family is going to be there. And we posted it at Title Boxing Club Goodyear, and the members there they support my twin sister and I 100%, and we sold over 150 tickets there, just there at the club.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of people know Jocelyn and I here in Arizona, and the support is huge. So it's going to be a great turnout.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, do you get nervous before you fight?
I'm kind of the quiet one. I really don't get nervous. You don't have to yell in my face to get me pumped up. I kind of just keep going over in my head. When that cage closes, it's her and I. It really is. So there's no timeouts, going over the game plan like in your regular sports. So it's just that adrenaline kicks in and I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm. We're 10 days out from the fight. And what's the feeling right now? Is it pure excitement because you've been out for so long? Is it like anxiousness, like you can't wait for it? You wish it was here tomorrow. What's the feeling like right now? I'm
excited. I get text messages daily from my parents and stuff. I have a great partner by my side helping me with everything. A huge support system in Arizona, and it's just like I haven't done this in a while. 10 days out. No more sodium, make sure the water's pretty high, and it's good. It feels really good. I do wish it was tomorrow. I wish weigh-ins were tomorrow, but 10 days, and it's going to come here before we know it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, because this is your pro debut, your amateur career is over, so looking back on your amateur career, what would you say is the best moment of your career? I can think of two off the top of my head. The Jordan Gaza fight, because that's when you claimed the Tough Enough belt. And then the second fight that I can think of is the Stephanie Gonzalez fight, because that was a fight where you were kind of avenging a loss because she had beaten your sister, and then you were able to get that win back, and you knocked her out. So those are the first two that come to my mind. Is it one of those two fights, or is it another moment that you would say is your best moment of your amateur career?
You did your research. I like you. I would have to say by far the Stephanie Gonzalez. To watch my sister lose that fight in California was really, really tough. And I missed weight when her and I were supposed to do the fight at 115. So then she kept asking to fight me again at 125, and she said she'd go up in weight. And, her mouth just kept going and going. I said, okay, good, let's do it, 125. Where I'm going to knock you out the first round. And that's what happened. So I'd have to say that by far, because I was going in there with, it wasn't, I didn't hate her, it's not that. It's just, it was for me and for my sister, and I was just so happy to get that out of the way. And so that's probably the highlight of my amateur career.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It has like a kickboxer type feel to it. That movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, yeah. In that movie, his brother gets like paralyzed or whatever, and then he comes back and he beats the guy who did it. So I like that storyline. I'm a sucker for the storylines like that. So now you mentioned earlier that you were supposed to have a fight for Invicta in March. Just curious, do you still have a contract with them?
That's what we're going over right now. Jocelyn and I both signed 3-fight deals with them. There's a lot of change going on right now with Invicta, which I'm sure you know. So they're sorting that out first. Jocelyn and I were the first ones that signed with them. Of course, Shannon isn't going to forget about us and stuff like that. So I'm kind of just sitting back, waiting for the call. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing every day. If other fights come up along the way, of course, I'm going to take those. And then again, talk with my manager about UFC tryouts coming up for 115. So there's a lot going on. A lot of doors are going to open. So I'm just taking it one day at a time right now.
Mm-hmm. Not looking past the fight on the 22nd, but a while back you were campaigning for a fight against Christy Lopez. You wanted that fight, I believe, under the RFA banner. You wanted to make your pro debut against her. Just curious, is that a fight that you still want?
I do. I want that fight a lot. She's dropping to 115. She's done her amateur career at 125 mostly, and I believe in 135. Her and I were on the same Tough Enough cards a lot. We both had the same fighting styles. That contract came to me, and it was good money for a pro debut, and it was in her backyard in California. What more could you ask for? It would have been televised, a good paycheck, and it's in your backyard. I would so love to fight that girl anywhere, and it really frustrated me that she didn't answer back on Twitter. My manager told me to tweet her. I did. It's like, what more could you ask for? What are you looking for right now? Mm-hmm. You want to fight? Let's fight. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that is a fight I would still take.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, what is the likelihood that fight takes place? Like, because she just fought Tyra Parker, who has been a pro since 2008 and has a lot more experience. Because if I remember correctly, that was kind of the reason why she didn't want to take the fight, was because she thought that you had a lot more experience than her, and she wanted to get some fights under her belt. Was that the scenario? And also, what's the chances that we end up seeing this fight?
Yeah, that's what she said. I had too much experience, but I think our amateur records were almost the same. She had more wins than me. Right. Her winning percentage was better. Like, our fighting styles are almost identical, you know, so I hope the offer does come up. RFA would be an awesome, show to be on, which we're in talks with them, my twin and I, a lot, so I hope it does get brought up again, because I would love to fight her.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, a little bit earlier, you touched on the Ultimate Fighter tryouts. Right now, I don't remember what the cutoff is. I think it's 3 pro fights you need to have, but I'm pretty sure for the last season for the women, they made it 2 pro fights. So it's possible that, you could fight here on the 22nd, get a win, fight again in March, get another win, and then fight in April. So it's possible that you could qualify because you could fight, often. Because I think the tryouts are in May or something. I don't know if that's exactly it. They might be starting filming in May. I don't know. I think the tryouts are in May. So it's possible that you could be eligible for that. Is that something where, let's say this is the only fight that you get in before that time, will you still try out regardless, just to get your name out there and get them to see you live?
Well, that last tryouts, my twin sister was there. They brought it down to 1 professional fight.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. There was 43 girls that showed up. My twin was there. Dana White had a piece of paper. It had 7 girls' names on it, and he called out these names in the beginning, and my name was one of them, and my twin sister had to go up to Dana White and explain to him that, 135 is too heavy for Jill. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to come to this, but if there's tryouts again, she'll be here. And Dana White told her, okay, good. That's what happened on that day, and ever since then, it's like, oh, okay, so Dana White knows my name. That is amazing to me. Amazing.
Right.
So our name is out there, and I think a lot of people know that Jocelyn and I will be at the Ultimate Fighter tryout at the 115.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But I gotta believe that you're on that short list. I mean, regardless of the story that you just said about how he knew your name, but I gotta believe that you're on the short list regardless, because what a cool storyline if you and your twin sister are in this house, and the way the show is formatted this year, it's for a belt. It's not just for the Ultimate Fighter title, it's for the actual strawweight title. So I gotta assume that you're gonna be on that short list.
Yeah, it's a cool story Jocelyn and I can do, with the whole fighting each other and stuff, so that could be interesting, but I'm pretty excited. Whatever happens.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, I wanted to end on some of these questions because you're the first twin that I've gotten to interview. I haven't interviewed any of the Nogueira brothers or the Hughes brothers or any other twins. So, if you don't mind, if you don't want to answer any stupid, corny twin questions, that's okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, all right, good. Here we go. All right, first question is probably one that you get all the time, but thinking back to it, I'm not sure because I always thought that the Olsen twins were identical, but then I found out a couple years back that they're not identical. So, first question is, are you and your sister identical twins?
We are identical twins, 3 minutes apart.
Really? Who's older?
Jocelyn's older by 3 minutes. We're mirrored identical, so meaning we're opposites of each other. I'm right-handed, she's left-handed. I have a mole on the right side of my head, she has it on the left side of her head. So looking in the mirror, everything's opposite. We're identical mirrored twins.
Really? That's awesome. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm learning stuff here. Now, do twins run in your family?
Nope, we're the only set.
Okay. Now, here's kind of a stupid one, but I see this online all the time. Who's the evil twin and who's the good twin?
Oh, we did it all the time. Jocelyn, growing up, was known as the more evil twin, and that's because she's more, not evil, she's blunt. She's going to say what she wants to say. I'm more I don't like hurting people's feelings. I'm super sensitive all the time, especially during white time. I'm super sensitive. So growing up, that's how it's been.
Now, when you were younger, did you guys ever pull the switcheroo where, like, you became her and she became you, and you hung out with different people that normally the other person would hang out with? Did you ever do that?
Oh, yeah. Eighth grade, we switched classes. The teachers never found out, but the students did by the end of the day.
Now, like, there's a lot of people out there, I've said it a bunch of times, and, like, I know everybody, basically, when they're a kid growing up, has said it, but when kids are growing up, they always say, oh, I wish I had a twin. Like, I always wish that. Now, you being a twin, have you ever said the opposite? I know, obviously, you love your sister and all that, but have you ever said, like, I wish that I didn't have a twin?
I wouldn't say no. I get what you're saying. There's times of frustration, and you're just like, it's tough being compared to one another a lot, and that happens with everything. So I think that's the only struggle. That I'm the baby twin, so I always get compared to her all the time. But it's something that I'm used to now, being the baby. We have an older sister, and I think that just comes with being the baby. But being compared to your twin, I would say that's the only thing that sucks about it.
Who got who into MMA? Did she say, "Hey, we got to try this," and you're like, "Okay, let's do it"? Were you the one who kind of put?
It was
mutual?
actually me in 2008. I got into it just by the workouts alone, the strength and conditioning workouts, and then I did my first amateur fight in 2009. She didn't go to that fight, believe it or not. She went to my second amateur fight in Denver, Colorado. When she saw it, she's like, oh my God, I want to do this. And then that was when she lived in California, and then she started training in California. I was like, I'm hooked, I want to do this. My twin and I, we've been athletes our whole life, playing basketball, water polo, softball throughout high school and college. And this, just kind of carried on and was easy to pick up, being that we just stayed so active. But it was me first.
Now, growing up, did you guys dress alike?
We still do. Our hairstyles, everything's the same.
I noticed in the past you had long hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
And after I graduated the police academy, I thought I was super cool, and I went and bought a crotch rocket, real fast motorcycle, because we grew up on dirt bikes and going to the dunes and stuff. And my dad about killed me, but Arizona, there's no helmet law, and it was my stupid fault. I was riding the bike, and I hit a pothole, huge pothole, not your standard size pothole, and I flew over the handlebars they said about 9 feet, and I woke up in the hospital. Next thing you know, my head was shaved because I got a pierced eardrum and a skull fracture and stuff like that. So I didn't purposely get short hair, but now it just suits me. And my twin sister, she cut her hair right after that had happened, so we just kept the short hair since. Yeah.
I like the short hair better. It's.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how the whole thing came together, because I thought it was just let's try something new, like Miley Cyrus or something like that. Let's just try something new. But I like the story better. You have interesting stories. Like, everything you do has a story attached to it. I love that.
Thank you.
Now, besides MMA, what are some other activities that you and your sister both did growing up and also do now together? Is there anything?
We love being outdoors, whether it's going to the dunes or being on the lake, jet skiing and stuff. We love being outside. That's why we're from California, but her and I, we just can't get out of Arizona. Everyone says it's so hot here. It's 78 right now. It's gorgeous outside. We love to be outside. That's our biggest thing that we do pretty much daily. We're always planning something. Every weekend we're doing something.
Mm-hmm. When you were growing up, did you guys share a room?
Yes, we did.
Bunk beds or separate beds?
We had water beds, but we attached a bridge to it out of a blanket so she could come to my bed and I could go to her bed. Then we had bunk beds, but we always ended up sleeping on the bottom together. Go figure.
I see. Now, is there anything like totally opposite about you? Like she does one thing. Obviously, you mentioned earlier the whole thing about you can't really put anybody down. Like you have a hard time hurting somebody's feelings. You mentioned that part. That was a difference in how you two personalities are. But is there anything completely different, like maybe an activity or something else like that she does by herself and you do by yourself? Like completely, you would never try that and she would never try what you do. Anything like that?
Not really an activity because we like everything the same, but she is OCD like a freak. Big time OCD. Color coordinated her closet. She has two stepchildren, and when the kids come home, the shoes have to be off at the door. You have to put them away. Everything has a place. You walk into her house, it looks like a model home. Everything has a spot. You get it out of the spot, she freaks out. Freaks out. That's the biggest difference with her and I like my stuff clean and neat. That's just how we were raised, but it's not as bad as hers.
Definitely. Changing gears on you from twin questions, back to MMA for a second to finish things up. You mentioned that you're kind of unsure on what the future holds because it could be Ultimate Fighter, it could be Invicta. Just curious, if you had to put money down right now, what would you say is more likely, Ultimate Fighter or Invicta?
If I had to put money down, I'd have to say Invicta. The relationship that Jocelyn and I have built with Shannon since day one. God, I wish I could tell the whole story. From day one, when there was no such thing as Invicta, we go way back with them. So it's a really good relationship, and we're super lucky to have that.
On February 22nd against Jenny Liu, how do you see the fight ending?
First round TKO. So my cardio's up there, and I'm coming forward, and I'm super hungry, so it's going to happen.
Jillian, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, to the fans, you guys follow me, Justice Jill at Twitter. Thank you for all the support. It means a lot. I just want to thank Title Boxing Club Goodyear. I work for a lady named Ashley and Michelle. They're the best owners to work for, best company to work for. They've done a lot for my twin and I'm super blessed. And then my twin sister for pushing me every day, and my partner for making sure everything's on track during this time. So super, super blessed with my family. And this by far has been one of the best interviews that I've done for radio. You've done your homework, and it just flows. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot to me that if you're happy, I'm happy. That's what I always say.
I'm extremely happy. Thank you.
Okay, Jillian, best of luck coming up on the 22nd against Jenny Liu, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store for you.
Thank you. 10 days, baby. I can't wait.